Welcome back inside this edition of On1 Sports, where today we'll be talking about who has the best retro jerseys.
Is Patrick Mahomes an MVP candidate?
And what is wrong with the Brooklyn Nets?
And it all starts right now. Welcome inside this week's edition of One-on-One Sports. Let's get things started off with the quick hitters and chase news around the NFL. We'll discuss two major stories from this past week. But first, the Indianapolis Colts, the Fighting Jeff Saturdays. They let go of Frank Reich and bring in Jeff Saturday. What is Jim Irsay thinking?
I have no idea. Jeff Saturday has no experience as a college head coach, and he has no experience as an NFL head coach. His last gig for the last couple of years has been head coach for the Hebron Christian Academy.
Yeah!
And as an ESPN analyst. And yes, he is a great player in that franchise's historic tenure in the NFL, but I just don't understand where they're going. I don't see Frank Reich as the problem. I see him as a scapegoat on the part of Chris Ballard. It's just the draft picks haven't been hitting.
Let him know.
And they consistently cannot find a quarterback to start past 1 year.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Frank Reich. They're going to blame it on him, although, again, he's had no consistent quarterback throughout his entire time. And we've talked about this. If Andrew Luck was there, this would not have happened.
No.
Because they would have a consistent quarterback. But again, Jeff Saturday, never been a college coach, never been an NFL coach. This is like when the Raiders rehired John Gruden. They're taking the old glory, and they're saying, okay, Peyton Manning, that was our center for Peyton Manning. Let's bring him back. Let's make him a head coach. But again, he was completely comfortable basically in this position, talking about sports on the internet. But now he's going to be a head coach in the NFL.
Not only is it going back to an old face, in the terms of the John Gruden thing, that's going back to somebody who had head coaching experience.
Yeah.
This is completely different. No experience whatsoever, hasn't even been in the organization. You have a multitude of qualified coordinators in that room, and all of them, you're now bringing a new face halfway through the season. So we head into the MLB with the Astros. It's been a while since the 2019 trash can scandal.
Yeah,
And they win the World Series in Game 6. Tell me all about it.
Respect greatness in the moment, people. Okay, people are going to discredit the Astros. They won 106 games. They were the best team in the American League. Best team in baseball at the end of the year, obviously. Second title in 6 years, first since 2017, because that championship still counts, people, because I don't care what you say about cheating in baseball. You still have to throw strikes, and you still have to hit the baseball, okay? So again, respect the Astros' greatness. Again, 2 titles in 6 years. They've cemented themselves as a dynasty, 4 World Series appearances in the last 6 years. Shout out Dusty Baker also.
Yes, the oldest manager. And if you put him in other leagues, he's the oldest head coach manager to ever win the championship of the league. A huge accomplishment for him, and happy to see him get it done.
And that was really like the black mark on his entire managerial career, was that he never really got it done in the postseason. He, with the Nationals, he was with the Cubs, he was with the Giants. They would all fall short in the postseason. He's finally got his ring, and mainly in part to also Jeremy Pena. Sophomore shortstop, rookie shortstop who came in for Carlos Correa. And again, Carlos Correa, we wondered, who was going to fill that gap. Jeremy Pena slotted in there. He won an LCS MVP, and then he won a World Series MVP. But back to football, okay? Back to football. This hurts me as a Washington Commanders fan. It's been hurting my soul ever since I was put onto this earth.
The angels are singing. The heavens are open.
The heavens have opened. Hallelujah. The Lord is good, and he is blessed. Daniel Snyder.
Amen.
Daniel Snyder.
Amen.
He is going to leave this wretched place. He is going to be gone as the owner of this team. This wretched, putrid, garbage can of a human being took over in 1999. I have known nothing but putridness for my entire life because of this stupid man. 2 division titles. He won 3 Super Bowls 10 years before he took over. Take over that 10-year gap, 3 Super Bowls and 4 Super Bowl appearances. And he has run the damn organization into the ground. How's the culture over there, by the way?
The culture is pretty
Damn good. You're darn right it's not Bruce Allen. Oh,
And it's about to get even better with some of these owners that are potentially lining up to hand Dan Snyder a check for $7 billion.
give me Bezos. Give me whoever else, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Give me Kevin Durant. This man has run one of the most storied franchises in the NFL into the ground with his blatant arrogance and vindictiveness. Just terrible. Thank God, thank the Lord and all that is holy, that Daniel Snyder's face will never be at FedEx Field or RFK or anywhere in the DMV ever again. Good riddance to you, you piece of garbage.
Well, to talk about a calmer sport, golf. Something big's happening there. The match is returning,
Not
and
the
now
same.
with actual golfers.
There's no point then. Then why are we having the match? The match, it had two things going for it originally, okay? One, it had football players. Two very personable football players and two very personable golfers, and Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and you throw in Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, okay? Now we're just doing golfers. Like, what's the point? I'm going to watch a major, and that's what I'm getting with the match, okay? But, like, you had personalities blending. You got to actually, experience greatness at the craft. But now it's like we're just throwing in random golfers that have a little bit of name image. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And that'll be all for the quick hitters. Now, let's talk about retro jerseys and the NHL. Welcome back inside 1-1 Sports, where now we're talking about NHL, and they've just gotten some new jerseys. Retro ones at that. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, a great drop by the NHL. My personal favorites are the Anaheim Ducks. I don't have a huge picture of it, but it's a tribute to the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, their inaugural season in 1993. I mean, who doesn't love the Mighty Ducks? I mean, it's a great jersey. I was kind of thinking about the Panthers and Sharks. They have a cool little color scheme going there, but I think I've got to go with the classic Anaheim Ducks. I think their jerseys are fantastic.
See, I think the outright winner of the retro jerseys got to be the Arizona Coyotes. Like, I know it's black and white, but look at these. They are beautiful. You got the desert on the bottom, the retro logo. Like, for such a dying team, they came out with a great design. I would have to say those are my favorite. Hopefully they do some nice stuff with them, maybe pair them with some nice pants.
Yeah.
Make something of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think those are great.
I saw the Ducks ones a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and they matched it with the matching
yeah.
pants.
It's looking awesome.
They looked very nice.
Great move
very
by the
nice.
NHL.
Oh, absolutely. I love
yes.
all of them.
Well, I'm glad you like the jerseys.
Yes.
Let's talk the play on the ice now.
Yes.
Stanley Cup is a long way away, but who you guys got right now?
I got the Carolina Hurricanes. They have been looking really good. Last year they went to the second round of the playoffs. Looked really strong. They're still holding tight with Sebastian Aho up front. He's currently got 7 goals, 8 assists for 15 points in 12 games. He's looking really good. And then they've got the greatest pickup of probably the offseason with Brett Burns. He came out of San Jose off of his contract, and they picked him up out of the blue, and he has delivered one great punch to this team. He's got 6 hits on 51 shots on goal, 8 block shots. He is just the beast of the back line for them.
All right. That's all great. Who won it last year? I think it's clear. I'm going back to Colorado.
Where did Nazem Kadri go?
Where did Nazem Kadri go? We have the depth. I mean, a little bit of a slow start this year, but the Avalanche also had a slow start last year. I mean, terrible injury luck to start the season. You take their injured players, it is a good starting lineup. Captain Gabriel Landeskog out for multiple months, hasn't even touched the ice yet. He had 11 goals and 11 assists last playoffs, so very valuable. You got the veteran Darren Helm, former Red Wing. A very important veteran presence they're missing. The choo-choo train, Valerian Nichushkin, their leading goal scorer. He's also hurt. And then Sam Girard and Bowen Byram, 2 very young defensemen that are also out. Those are all players that are injured, and they're not even back yet. And they're still 6-4, third in the Central Division. When they come back, there's no reason why they're not going to be Cup favorites.
You guys lost just about the core of your team. Nazem Kadri, gone. I don't know why you guys didn't re-sign him. Like, come on. He was the heart of the Stanley Cup team.
I love Kadri, but we got Cale Makar. I mean, we got Nathan McKinnon. You don't really need him. Cale Makar. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer. Norris Trophy winner last year, best defenseman, led the defenseman in goals with 28, and then he had 86 points as well from a defenseman. That is fantastic numbers. Also, playoff MVP. I mean, you don't go wrong there. I mean, there's no reason why.
I just don't think they're going to be able to do it again. They lost so much of their core that I don't think they're going to be able to repair it. Sorry to.
We may have lost some players.
Crap on your
Joe
parade.
Sakic, amazing general manager. He's brought in good replacements. Alexander Georgiev, 2.61 goals against average. He's done amazing to replace Darcy Kemper. I think we got the depth. I think we're gonna.
We'll see how it plans out.
Right.
Those are the teams you have going all the way, but there's some that maybe not the typical viewer would consider good. Who do you have as your sneaky good team so far?
See, though I'm a Penguins fan, the Seattle Kraken, one of the greatest jerseys in the league, must I say, they have been storming out of the gate. After being second to last year in the league, behind the or in front of the Canadiens, they're one of the younger teams on the
Kraken, the team that finished last place last
they
year?
are one of the younger teams out there.
Really?
They're 6-3-1 in their last 10, and they have had a tough last 10, must I say. They're currently second in the Pacific with 16 points, 6 behind Vegas. Vegas is on another level. They have a strong center in Jaden Swartz with 5 goals, 5 assists, and 10 points. Left winger with Andrei Burakovsky, 3 goals and 7 assists, and then Martin Jones, who's not really, probably on all the goalie watches, but right now he's at a 2.61 goals against average and a .901 save percentage. He's really looking strong. They're the new team on the block. They struggled last year. I expect them to do good this year.
That's something the Kraken did struggle with last year was goaltending. I don't think it's going to hold up. I think Darcy Kemper, he's hurt right now. He comes back. He's going to get the starting job over Martin. He's going to struggle. I'm sorry. It pains me to say it. It also pains me to say that my sleeper team's the Detroit Red Wings from an Avalanche fan. Big rivalry there. But, I mean, they've got it. They've got Dominik Kubalik, 16 points, 6 goals, 10 assists. He wasn't even offered a qualifying offer from Chicago last year. The Red Wings originally signed him for depth, but he has just exploded onto the ice. Moving into that top line, I think the Red Wings got everything they need. They have just one regulation loss at home this year, and to win the Cup, I mean, you need to be great at home. The Avalanche had a huge home win streak.
But must I say, they haven't even gotten a sniff of the playoffs in their last 6 seasons.
The Kraken are in the second year in the league. They don't have the experience either.
The Red Wings have been around for, 30-something years? 40-something years?
Yes.
More
And
than that?
they won it
And they
before.
haven't even sniffed the playoffs in 7 years with probably that much depth in their farm system and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how are they going to do it this year? They didn't make any major moves in the offseason. They didn't blow anything up. Like, what are they? Do you think they're just going to magically appear as a good team?
They didn't make any major moves, but they did acquire Husso from the St. Louis Blues, who filled in for Binnington last year after he got hurt in the playoffs, and he's been very good. I mean, this is why they're a surprise team. No one's really expecting it. They've made some under-the-radar moves. Development, young Michael Rasmussen. He's a top 10 pick in 2017. He's super aggressive, 6'6". I mean, he's scary on the ice. And there's players like those that are going to lead the Red Wings.
They just lack the experience. They're the 8th youngest team in the league. Their whole team is under 32 years old. Their young captain has only had 6 seasons under his belt. And granted, none of them have been playoff seasons.
He also has 15 points this year.
None of them has been playoff seasons. We're talking about a deep run here, Harry.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
It's going to be tough. I know one thing for sure, though. The Mile High City's coming back for a ring.
I don't know. Maybe the Steel City can pull one out for Pittsburgh.
Miracles have happened before.
Miracles do happen.
Yes.
Well, that's all for NHL. We'll be back with NFL midseason predictions.
Welcome back to 101 Sports. We've talked some NFL, now we're going to talk some more. I got Trey and Matt here. Let's break down some NFL midseason superlatives, if you will. Okay. Matt, which team, didn't start off the year so well? We're going to call them the rally team. Which team's going to rally
I mean, for me, it's got to be the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, with the amount of injury concerns that they've had so far this season, Mike Williams has been injured the past 2 weeks. Keenan Allen's only played 2 games this year. Rashawn Slater, Corey Linsley, a lot of their offensive line has been injured, and that offense just hasn't been able to get going. But they're still 5-3 in the playoff race. Once that lineup gets healthy, that offense is going to be almost unstoppable. So look for them to finally pick it up, get in a groove in about 2 or 3 weeks, and really make a run down the stretch.
Keenan Allen screwed me in fantasy.
I agree. I have to agree with all that. When that team gets healthy, they're going to be very good. Palmer showed up very big in that most recent game. But for me, it's got to be Cincinnati. Obviously, there were big questions when Ja'Marr Chase got injured, and they showed to still be dominant team. Obviously, that hiccup against the Browns is nothing to look at. But Joe Mixon recently, 5 touchdowns, top 5, I think, in fantasy points in a single game. They're fantastic. They're lacking. They're 26 in rushing yards per game. That's going to change, I think, now with the injury and with Joe Mixon stepping up into a bigger position. But they're 4th in passing yards per game. Joe Burrow is the 5th best quarterback rating this season. They're a really, really good team. Expect them to win their division. Expect them to make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, you know, I completely agree with that. I think the Bengals at the beginning part of the season, even though they have a winning record, they've been kind of in that Super Bowl slump. You know, they made it there. They obviously disappointed against the Rams. They should have done a lot better there. But they've still been able to hold it together. I think Joe Burrow, he started the season off badly with 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in that first game, but he's really bounced back well. And I think once Ja'Marr Chase gets fully healthy again and gets back in it, I mean, that offense is just elite when everybody's running on all cylinders. So expect them, as long as the offensive line can hold up and keep Joe Burrow healthy, they should be a team to watch down the stretch.
I agree.
Yeah, they both have a Wake Forest defensive back on their team, so good choice to both of you. Okay, but guys, Trey, I'm interested here. Overrated team. I'm a little flabbergasted by your pick.
Well, they're not super high rated. Most people don't think they're as good as they should be, but I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for this one, guys. They obviously have the advantage of being in that poor division of the NFC South, but I think they could lose it. I think they barely escaped that game against the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm not sure they can beat them given a second time. They have a harder upcoming schedule than the Falcons do. The Falcons can certainly got a few more dubs coming up in their schedule. I think they can win the division, and I think they could kick Tom out of here.
Explain to me how they're overrated. They're 4-5. They were supposed to
Everybody.
run through this division.
Everybody expected this team to do so, and they haven't been. They lost to Carolina.
So how are they overrated?
Everybody expected this team to win their division without a hiccup whatsoever. Everybody expected this team. It's Tampa Tom. What did we expect? We were expecting greatness from him. He's a ring winner.
Yeah, they were overrated in the offseason, maybe, but now we are 9 weeks into this season.
Yeah, there's a difference between being overrated and a terrible team.
The only thing that we have been doing all season is trashing the Buccaneers, calling for Tom Brady to get back with Giselle and just end everything. This needs to be done with. They are not a good team. The Falcons could win this division. I could see the Saints passing them if all things go well for them. They are not overrated. They are just a bad football.
I think the average viewer 100% thinks that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are bound for a deep playoff run, and I think they're completely wrong about that. They're lowest for points for in their division, 25th in points per game. They can't run the ball.
The Packers, if they somehow make it.
The Packers are not making the playoffs. I'm sorry.
I mean, come on.
I'd be surprised if this team makes the playoffs, and if they do, they're nothing more than a first round.
But is the NFC South the worst division in football?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's
no competition.
And they are sucking. They can't do anything.
The Carolina Panthers could technically win this division.
It's blasphemy. It's crazy. That is blasphemy.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
You want to talk about an overrated team, talk about the Minnesota Vikings. That's who you want to talk about. 6 straight one-possession wins. All these wins, they've been awful. They have played the Lions, the worst defense in the NFL. Arizona Cardinals, the 2nd worst defense. The Saints, the 5th worst defense. The Dolphins, the 8th worst defense. I mean, just round them all off. And guess what? Down the stretch, they are facing the number 1, the number 3, the number 7, the number 8, the number 9, and the number 13 defense this year. Yikes. All top 15 plus the division. They're 3 division games.
Into Eminem over here. My God.
I'm telling you, it's not going to be good for them.
I agree.
Kirk Cousins is going to start taking those chains off, maybe add about 15
He's
to 20
gonna
pounds.
He's going to add a shirt.
No, I agree.
Agree.
Their record speaks way too highly of them than they actually have been. Obviously, Kirk Tober, we all expected him to be undefeated there, right? It's Kirk Tober. But it's November now, and I did not expect him to come out with this one, and I agree with you. I do not see them coming up with too many more wins in the second half of the season.
Kirk Cousins is mid. And, you know, I've been a defender of Kirk Cousins, like, his entire career. I've loved this guy. I think he was doing really well. But, I mean, he's got 1,909 in passing yards and 13 and 6 touchdowns.
He's the weakest part of their offense.
Offensive weapons that he has.
He's Jimmy Garoppolo.
I mean, come on. And the defenses that they faced, you got to do better than that.
He's like that SpongeBob character who's literally, he's like that SpongeBob. You know, when SpongeBob becomes around, he's like, hi, how are you? That's Kirk Cousins.
That's Kirk right there.
Okay.
Skull.
Both of you guys picked the same MVP. Trey, I'm going to go to you. Why is it Pat Mahomes?
Well, how couldn't we? All right, up until week 8, I'd say I was picking Josh Allen, but this most recent performance, lackluster at best,
Tommy John's
embarrassing
gonna
at
hurt.
worst. Yeah. With that injury, with those 2 picks, I really don't think we can say that Josh Allen is the MVP frontrunner anymore. So it is, of course, Patrick Mahomes. How could it be anyone else? There were so many questions at the beginning of the season. How are they going to do without Tyreek? Is it going to be the same offense? Patrick Mahomes says, yes, it is going to be the same, arguably better. Obviously, his favorite red zone target is still Travis Kelce, but he's finding guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, McCall Hardman, and doing it with his legs himself. Obviously, his rushing yards aren't as impressive this year, but he's the best passer in the league right now, most passing yards for sure. And who other quarterback has an adjective named after him? Oh, that throw, that sidearm, that was Mahomes-esque. No other quarterback in the league has that. He's got to be MVP.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. And the thing, he's been doing this with an offense that really hasn't gelled yet. You've just got Kadarius Toney. They're still trying to figure out how to work all these pieces in, and he's still putting up insane numbers. So he's going to be the guy for me right now, but a sleeper pick. Cole Noble, our producer, is going to love this. He is a known hater of this man, Joseph Burrow. We talked about him earlier. We talked about him earlier. Look at him coming in here, as we mentioned, 2 touchdowns, 4 picks in the first game. He is now 16 touchdowns, 2 picks since then. He's been going off. Even without Jamar Chase, he has been playing really well. When this offense gets going, watch out for this guy. He could have a resurgence in the second half of this season. Not saying he's going to go and take on Patrick Mahomes for the MVP, but I think if you got to choose someone else and put a debate in there at this moment, I think it's got to be him.
He certainly could be your guy. I could definitely see a Bengals-Chiefs AFC Championship, and in that situation, does Joe Burrow step up and become the guy?
I mean,
There's
I guess
potential.
we'll have to wait and see.
I sure hope we get to see it.
And neither of you guys mentioned Tyreek Hill potentially for MVP.
I was
Come
going
on,
to. I was thinking about it. You know,
Potential first
it would be
2,000-yard
first-
season.
It would be the first person since Adrian Peterson not to be a quarterback to win the MVP of the league. The thing for me is, doesn't have enough scores. That's
have
the
enough
big thing for
touchdowns?
me. Doesn't have enough touchdowns. He's the target all over the field. He's got the yards after catch and everything. I just need to see him score more, because if you're an MVP voter and you're going and you want to see who does it, people love fireworks. They want to see touchdowns. They want to do it. That's the only reason why I didn't choose him.
People also do love Tua Tagovailoa. You know, the man did get 17,000 Senate votes in Florida, so, you know.
And he almost died.
Highest passer rating this year?
And,
Is that a fraudulent stat?
And he's 6-0 in games that he's finished, but yeah, we'll see.
Hey, we'll get a sec.
The Miami Dolphins are number 1. All right, that's going to do it for the NFL midseason awards. We're going to go to the hardwood, talk with Chase Strasser about the NBA.
Welcome back to 1-1 Sports, where we're getting into the NBA. It's been a couple weeks. We're starting to see what teams are made of. But there's one team that has been more broken than the rest, the Brooklyn Nets. Greg, tell me about it.
I thought you were going to say the Los Angeles Lakers for a second, being 2-9. But Brooklyn, what hasn't gone wrong for this organization? I mean, you look at the players they've acquired. Kevin Durant, he wants out. Kyrie Irving, God knows he has his own problems. And Ben Simmons. And I know Scott is a former 76ers fan. You have a great relationship
I do.
with Ben Simmons.
My favorite of all time.
But what's been wrong with this team is that when every team tries to take on 3 superstars with 3 massive egos and 3 direct ways of doing their own thing, it never works. You need a 2.5 men as a big 3. You can't have 3 individual stars doing their own thing with no depth. It never works and never will.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Ben Simmons, they're 3-1 without him, 1-6 with him. That's the only stat you need to hear. He's shooting 44.7 in true shooting percentage. The league average is 61. How bad can he be shooting? He's fouled out of 2 games already in, 7 games played. He hasn't managed double-digit points once, and he is a -60. He can't do anything right.
See, you brought out plus minus, and plus minus is one of my favorite stats. When you mentioned true shooting percentage, the man won't even shoot the ball. I mean, ever since he had that moment in the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Hawks, he's had a worse case of the yips than Rick Ankiel. And that's a baseball reference, by the way. He just doesn't seem to shoot. He can't facilitate like he did. He can play defense a little bit, but that gets you nowhere if you can't put the ball in the basket.
So what do you guys think is the answer for the Brooklyn Nets? How do you think, what's the fix here?
Blow it up.
Blow it up?
Blow it up.
Might have to. KD wants out. Kyrie, who knows if he's playing again for the Nets. Ben Simmons can't really buy out his contract, but I don't think he's worth $40 million almost.
I mean, and again, they're in such a terrible position that they've traded so many of their pieces, you know, for draft picks and whatever to get these star players, and it hasn't worked out. Sometimes you just got to cut your losses.
That there might be considered a hot take, but I know you guys got hot takes of your own. Scott, what's yours?
I think that the Atlanta Hawks make the Eastern Conference Finals this year. They go back to it, from when.
In 2019.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I got you.
Lost my thought process a little bit, but I think the team looks great. DeJounte Murray has played really well alongside Trae Young. AJ Griffin, when he's had the ball, he's looked great. He had a huge game against the Bucks the other night, handing them their first loss. They have a deep roster. Trae Young is still a very good player, promising. This team looks really good.
You didn't even mention Wake Forest guy John Collins over there. Love me some John Collins. But okay,
I'm interested to
Brace
hear the
yourselves
reasoning
over
for
here.
this.
The Golden State Warriors will make the play-in and lose.
No.
Yes.
No, not a
Not
chance.
even gonna sniff the postseason.
No.
And you want to know why? Where's their bench? Their bench was the key part of those teams that won championships. Jordan Poole, again, he got his money. He's now facilitated himself in the starting five. He's not the same player. Imagine I went on this show, okay, and I punched Chase Strasser right in the face.
Please don't do that.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
But wouldn't that cause a little bit of friction in the organization?
I think it would.
I think it would too, but I would never punch your face. But again, they had Iguodala, they had Bogut, they had Leandro Barbosa, Sean Livingston. There was a key bench element to that team, to those championship teams. It's not there anymore. They've put so much freaking money into that starting five that can't blend because you got two guys who literally fought each other. And Draymond Green, he's getting old. Steph Curry, love him dearly. Great shooter. He won a championship last season. Well-deserved. But he's falling off. Klay Thompson, he had those two major injuries. He's falling off as well. Are you going to really rely on Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins to really carry you when those other three guys are basically getting into that wheelchair phase? I don't think so.
They just won a championship last year.
This is the year they fall
They
off.
just won a championship
That's
last year.
Last year.
What
How are they doing this year?
changes happened on the roster? Who have they
They
lost?
paid Andrew Wiggins more money. They paid Jordan Poole more money. That's more
Who's
pressure.
gone?
Who's gone? I really don't know. But guess what?
Exactly.
Who's their bench?
Who's their bench?
Who's their
They
bench?
got great guys off the bench.
Who?
Wiseman comes off the bench. Kuminga comes off the bench.
Unproven.
Peyton's still there.
Unproven.
Peyton was good in those postseason last
Well, what
year.
does he do in the regular season? Can he score?
Get there.
Can't score.
Gets the
Jonathan
postseason.
Kuminga can't really score. James Wiseman, he was number 2 pick in 2020 and done crap in the league. He doesn't do anything. He's their lone big off the bench. Draymond Green, do you trust Draymond Green to get you 10 points a game?
You don't need to. I have Curry and Klay Thompson
So you're saying
and Jordan
Curry's gonna
Poole
give you
scoring
30.
80 a game.
Curry's
The
gonna
three of
give
them
you
can put
30.
up 80 a game.
I don't believe it.
The three of them can put up 80 a game.
Who gives you 80 between 3 players? Poole, Curry, and who else?
Klay Thompson.
No, he does not.
Yes, he
can't
does.
walk correctly.
Doesn't matter.
He
Catch
can't
and
walk.
shoot.
He can't shoot. No, he can't.
Yes, he can.
He can't shoot anymore. He can't defend anymore. He can't do a thing anymore.
That is absolute crap.
No, it's not.
I feel sort of stuck in the middle here, so I'll get us moving a little bit. You talk about unproven talent. These guys are proving it early. Your top rookie performers.
Okay,
Great.
we basically agree here on Paolo Banchero. Paolo Banchero has been
hard not
fantastic,
to.
but I'm going to take a little bit of a detour. Benedict Mathurin. He came out of Arizona. Arizona was a very good college team last year, and he was really the star of that team. He's averaging just under 30 minutes a night, and he's also averaging just under 20 points a night. And he's got Tyrese Halliburton. They have a guard pairing that they can build around in Indiana. If Miles Turner wants to stay, this can be a playoff team.
I don't know about that.
I think it's true. The Eastern Conference is so top heavy. It's so top heavy.
There's like
Tyrese Halliburton leads the league in assists in terms of total assists. They have a facilitator at point guard. They have a wing who can score, and they have a big man down low who can protect the rim and get buckets.
You're telling me that now 2 of these Cavs, Celtics, Nets, Sixers, Bulls, all these teams we talked about at the start of the year.
Yeah.
You're telling me 2 of them are now going to miss the playoffs.
There's 8 teams that go in the playoffs. Technically 10 nowadays. I think they can make the play-in, maybe win a play-in game.
But you don't think the Warriors are going to make it?
No, the Western Conference is absolutely loaded.
All right.
Because I think that
So
if
are the Jazz making the playoffs?
they're 9-3 right now. I think they make the play-in game. But you're telling me with the loaded Western Conference that Luka ends up in the play-in?
No.
The Pelicans end up in the play-in?
Probably.
No.
Yeah.
So you're saying are the Pelicans better than the Warriors right now?
No.
No.
It is still early in the year.
The Pelicans are loaded. And guess what? They have depth. So much
And
depth.
so what
I
happens
will
when Zion gets hurt again?
Has he gotten hurt so far this year? Has he not trimmed down a ton? He has trimmed down a ton.
I
No
will
one can stop him around the
say when
basket.
comparing the Pelicans and the Warriors, we talk about a younger bench on both teams. The Pelicans' younger stars have stepped up early in the year, but still give the Warriors time. They did just win a championship. But let's talk about Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the #1 pick, a little bit of who's going to go #1, we don't know, ends up being Banchero. He's leading the league in points, rebounds, and assists for rookies. He's averaging 35 minutes a night. Put up 33, 16, and 4 against the Kings. The boring pick, but it's the easy pick for the best rookie in the league.
I mean, and that's the thing with Paolo Banchero. He was really NBA ready at Duke, and he just got the 1 year under Coach K. Had a little bit of a disappointing Final Four, if I might add. But again, like you said, he's like 23-9 basically. But again, Benedict Mathurin, he's going to contribute on a potential playoff team. Okay, the Magic have the worst record in the NBA. They're sitting at 2-9. It's going to take some time for the Magic. Yeah, but the Lakers, I think everyone beefs up the Lakers. LeBron is done. Another hot take.
That's kind of fair.
Okay, LeBron is done.
We're
AD
just
will never probably be the same again. And they have, I think I saw this earlier, 8 guys on that team last year are no longer in the NBA. The Lakers are literally a turnstile right now. They have the same record, okay? They were starting Anthony Davis at center right now. The last time they were 2-9, Robert Sacre was their starting center. Do we remember Robert Sacre?
Who?
Exactly. Robert Cray? Like, that's what we're talking about with Robert Sacre, okay? The Lakers, no. But top rookie, I got to say, is probably Paolo Banchero, but watch out for Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah.
That's all for us on the hardwood. Thank you, Gray Austin, Scott Katz, for your amazing takes, and we'll be back on 101 Sports.
Thanks for watching another edition of 101 Sports.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
And until next time, whose side are you on?
That's a good toss here. Camera.
Oh,
that's a good one.